Hey guys, my name is Caden Kubler and welcome to Caden's Corner. The NBA playoffs are right around the corner. We get postseason basketball and I'm so pumped up. You have this loaded Western Conference with teams 1 through 10 who could make a run in the playoffs. And then in the Eastern Conference, you have the front runners in the Boston Celtics who will be able to emerge as that number 2 team in the Eastern Conference. Today, I'll be breaking down the Pacers versus Milwaukee series, and I personally believe that Giannis and the Bucks are in big time trouble against Tyrese Haliburton and the Indiana Pacers. Milwaukee in these final 2 games of the regular season rested their players, ultimately lost these games, and slipped to the number 3 seed. I think it's beneficial for them because they avoided that 2-7 matchup where they probably would have drawn Philadelphia, but they are greeted with an Indiana team that they are 0-2 familiar with. I think that this is going to be one of the best first round matchups and not enough people are talking about it. Indiana is 4-1 against Milwaukee this season. Now they haven't seen each other in 3 months, but a lot has happened since then. Milwaukee midway through the year fired their head coach Adrian Griffin and replaced him with Doc Rivers. Griffin went 30-13 in the first 43 games of the season. Since then, Doc Rivers has gone 17-19 and things haven't looked great in Milwaukee. Indiana at the trade deadline shipped away Buddy Hield and acquired former All-Star Pascal Siakam. Now Tyrese Haliburton also dealt with some injury issues and this offense didn't look as explosive as we saw in the in-season tournament. But he's closer to 100%. He'll be able to get a week of rest under his belt, and I believe he'll be ready to go in this Milwaukee series. Now, Giannis himself is also dealing with some injury issues. His status for Game 1 is up in the air with a calf injury, but I think if he plays or if he doesn't, Indiana wins this series regardless. Milwaukee at the beginning of the season was playing their best basketball under Adrian Griffin, and they still went 1-4 against Indiana because they couldn't stop a nosebleed. Now they get to see this team for a 7-game series, and they've been playing their worst basketball under Doc Rivers. They've slumped completely, and they've gone 2-6 in their final 8 games. And I simply have no faith in this team. Indiana will live with giving up 30 points a game to Giannis and Dame. As long as they can put up 130 points a game offensively, they'll win this series with ease. When we saw these 5 prior matchups in the regular season, Indiana scored over 120 points in every single game, including 2 games where they dropped 140 points. Now I understand this Indiana offense didn't look as good as it did when it played Milwaukee in the beginning of the season, but you have to factor in the Haliburton injury, and you have to factor in the addition of Pascal Siakam in the starting lineup. I simply don't believe that the Bucks will be able to stop this firepower offensively from Indiana. I understand that they added Patrick Beverley at the trade deadline, but he can't take away every option for Indiana. Damian Lillard and Malik Beasley are not good defenders, and they won't be able to slow down this firepower that comes from Indiana's backcourt. Aaron Nesmith is the key player that not enough people are talking about in this series. He's this undersized, scrappy wing that's going to play tough against Giannis. He's going to be a thorn in his side, and I believe he's going to get underneath his skin. He's going to give this confidence to this Indiana team that doesn't have a lot of postseason experience, and they're going to feed off of Nesmith, in my opinion. Everybody knew since the beginning of the season that the Boston Celtics were the clear-cut favorite to win the Eastern Conference. The Bucks were never consistent enough to show that they can contend with them. Joel Embiid had the injury problems, and the 76ers were never at that level. Julius Randle now goes down for the Knicks, who are the number 2 seed. What type of run can they make? But I said from the beginning that this Indiana team is explosive. They will run up the scoreboard on you, and I believe they are the underrated sleeper team that could make that Eastern Conference Finals run, and I'm sticking with it. They will beat the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round of the playoffs, and Giannis and Dame will be sent packing. I'm Caden Kubler, and that's my take.